Doctor, your reaction first and foremost to these sweeping measures, or are they sweeping, on behalf of the Premier of your province?
I guess I'll start by saying that I agree that we, given the situation that we're in, that we have no choice but to impose strict measures. My first reaction is that on first blush, and I'd have to look at it on paper, it is less restrictive than we were faced with last year in the first phase. And that worries me. It's also far less strict than the measures used by the United Kingdom when they were in the exact same situation in December and January, where they were in a similar position with the B.1.1.7 variant, a massive upsurge of cases, and they had to get that under control. They had a broad-based vaccination strategy in addition to pretty strict lockdown measures for 2 months.
Okay. Dr. Talbot, thank you for that, Dr. Fabro. Dr. Talbot, you also were standing by. You heard about those measures. Are they stiff enough? It looks like Dr. Fabro is saying maybe there's a little bit to be desired there.
I think, on behalf, I should make a correction. The Strategic COVID Committee is part of the Edmonton Zone Medical Staff Association, so we're not advising the province as such. But I think tonight's announcement is better than we expected. I think they've moved closer to what we've been asking for, which is a lockdown. There's still confusion in terms of taking the strategy. The Alberta government has pushed for the idea that they can target their measures. And the difference between a lockdown and targeting is actually pretty straightforward. When you're targeting, you tell people which things are going to remain open. You tell them which ones are going to be closed. But in a lockdown, you tell them which is going to be open. And at this point, listing all the things that are going to be closed and whether they're at 10% or 15% capacity, that increases confusion in the minds of people. And so I think it would have benefited if they had started off with lockdown and emphasized that you're not to go out of your house to an indoor space unless you're doing an essential service. And essential services include things like healthcare and getting your groceries and et cetera. And that in your home, you should not have anybody in your home who isn't normally in your home. And then finally, that if you do need exercise, you do need mental health breaks, you do need to socialize people, that you should do it outside, and that you should socially distance and mask. That's a lot simpler than listing the things that they did. The question that we'll be working on until probably tomorrow morning is whether the things that were listed are good enough to get control over the virus. And in the end, it's the virus that's going to tell us that. 2 weeks from now, if these measures are successful, the cases will come down. But the hopeful things are that personal services are closing. My reading of it was that restaurants and bars are only for pickup, so that's a plus. Leaving other places open like houses of worship and some retail services when you're closing schools is not a good idea. Schools should be closed last, and because of all the obvious benefits they have for both kids and parents and families. And it also creates a problem, because if you have parents who now have kids at home who have to work, and that would include a lot of frontline, low-income people, they then have to make a choice between leaving their kids alone and suffering economic hardship. So in general, in public health, we say you close the schools last, and you do it in a way that makes sure the parents can be there. And this doesn't look like they've made that possible.
Dr. Fabro, you've been nodding your head, presumably in agreement to the comments that Dr. Talbot is making. I was quickly taking notes as Premier Kenney was basically outlining, to Dr. Talbot's point, a lot of messaging there. What's open, what's closed, how many weeks, some days here, some weeks over here. Your thoughts on that, Doctor?
I mean, I agree completely with Dr. Talbot. I think the message needs to be a lot simpler. And I agree. So I'll start by saying I agree we need to, applaud the fact that there are restrictions and we need them. I agree we need to make them much simpler. Stay home. I agree with everything Dr. Talbot said. The evidence in public health shows that we want to protect the children. There are unintended consequences, especially for the youngest children under 10. And I think Premier Kenney did a good job explaining why in the situation that we're in. I was on call Sunday night for 16 hours on the COVID unit, and
oh, wow.
And I could tell you that it is people are coming in sick, they're coming in younger, they're coming in fast, the ICUs are full, people are tired, and the thought that with our current caseload at 2,000 cases a day, if you give that another 2 weeks, another 50% increase daily. That's something like 80 ICU admissions a day, or over 100 hospitalizations a day in the province every day, with a 10 to 12 day length of stay in the hospital. We cannot sustain that. That is not sustainable. And so I agree with Dr. Talbot. I think the much simpler way would be to the messaging from last year: stay home, please stay home, and make it very simple. Lock down everything that doesn't need to be essential, because what's at stake is the sustainability of our healthcare system, as Mr. Kenney said. And then the last thing I'll say is that it's a gamble in our current situation with unmitigated exponential growth. No one has a crystal ball, but the measures that we used last year in March were more strict than the measures that were just announced, I think, to my read from what I heard. And we have the variants of concern that are by far the dominant strain now, and they're far more transmissible. So just logically speaking alone, it doesn't seem to make sense to be using less restrictive measures now with a more transmissible virus with far higher case counts now,